Hey, it's Mitch, doing the cruise, January 30th, 1969. The Beatles staged that famous rooftop concert on the roof of Apple Records in London. The band played about 42 minutes before the Metropolitan Police arrived and ordered them to reduce the volume. It was the final public performance of their career. Although the concert had been conceived only a few days previous, the Beatles had been planning to return to the live performance stage since they began the recording sessions for their album Let It Be. Maybe if the businessmen down below knew they were eavesdropping on the end of an era, they wouldn't have complained about the racket interrupting their lunch break so much. The Rooftop concert is a bright spot in the tension-fueled recording sessions of what will become the Let It Be album and the accompanying Let It Be documentary, and then also, later, the Peter Jackson HBO documentary, The Beatles, Get Back. The band hasn't ventured outside the studio since the summer of 1966, when they gave their last paid concert performance in San Francisco's Candlestick Park, and they're hoping to get back to their roots, playing music without the aid of studio magic. Paul McCartney thought they could stage a live concert to promote the new album, with footage doubling as the climax to the documentary film. But no one could decide on a venue. Suggestions ranged from a cruise ship to their old stomping grounds, the Cavern Club, to the mouth of a volcano. Yoko Ono suggests they perform to an auditorium of 20,000 empty seats. A frustrated George Harrison demands they nix the concert idea, which has become an albatross around their necks and is preventing them from making any real progress. But what is to become of the documentary without a concert? No one knows exactly who came up with the idea, but heading up on the Apple rooftop was something that everyone could finally agree on. Joined by keyboardist Billy Preston, the band, including Harrison and John Lennon, bundled up in fur coats, launches into a brief but memorable set that blasts through the workday drudgery on the streets below. Besieged by noise complaints, the police make their way to the rooftop as a magnificently bearded Paul McCartney belts out a third run-through of Get Back. Ringo Starr, who grudgingly agreed to take part in the performance, is enlivened by the possibility of an arrest. Someone was complaining, and the police came up, and I just thought, we're on film. Drag me off the drums or something. But instead it was, well, I'm afraid you've got to turn it down, and the plug was pulled. Could have been incredible. The Beatles carted off by the police. That would have been great. The concert isn't capped by an arrest, but Lennon quipping says, I'd like to thank you all on behalf of the group and ourselves, and I hope we've passed the audition. By the time Let It Be hits the theaters, the band has already broken up, but the rooftop performance becomes an iconic moment in the Beatles' absolute legendary career and in rock and roll history. Nearly 2 decades later, U2 stages a rooftop concert in Los Angeles for their Where the Streets Have No Name video in honor of the Beatles.